I moved into this apartment about 3 months ago. Rent was cheap, the neighborhood was quiet, and the landlord didn't ask too many questions. At the time, that felt like a blessing. Now, I realize I should have asked a few of my own. It's a second-floor unit in an old brick building on the edge of town. Nothing fancy. Wood floors that creak, paint that flakes, radiators that knock in the middle of the night. But it was mine, or it felt like it was, for a little while. The weirdness started on a Sunday. I'd just gotten back from spending the weekend at my mom's place. I'd unpacked, made some tea, and was sitting on the edge of the bed, scrolling through my phone when I heard it. This faint, muffled voice, like someone talking softly, directly behind me. I froze. It wasn't coming from the hallway. It wasn't outside. It was coming from the vent, the old, dusty metal one, in the far wall of my bedroom. At first, I figured it was just my downstairs neighbor. Thin walls, old building. Probably just him talking on the phone or watching TV with the volume low. But the voice didn't sound like it was filtered through a floor or a wall. It sounded closer, like it was just a few feet away. I leaned in, pressed my ear to the vent, and listened. Nothing. Just a soft whoosh of stale air. I told myself it was nothing. The building makes weird noises all the time. Old pipes, air pressure, all that stuff. But the next night, I heard it again. Around the same time. Not louder, just clearer. I pressed my ear to the vent again. Still faint, but this time, I swear I heard my name. Not yelled, not spoken, whispered. Ryan, that's my name. And I live alone. I remember just standing there, frozen, waiting for it to happen again. It didn't. Not that night. I unscrewed the vent cover and shined my phone flashlight inside. All I saw was dust and metal. Nothing unusual. No wires, no speakers, no rats, just empty ductwork. The voice didn't come back. I tried to let it go. But the next few days, they were worse. Every night, like clockwork around 11:30, I'd start hearing it again. Not just one voice now, voices. Low, urgent murmuring, like a conversation happening just out of earshot. At first, it was gibberish. Then I started recognizing actual words. Phrases like, "Why'd he come back? He's not supposed to be here. He can't hear us. Yet." I don't scare easy, but that kind of thing gets under your skin. It's not just what they were saying, it was how. The voices weren't angry. They weren't emotional. They were patient, like they had time. I told myself I was just exhausted, that my brain was pulling tricks, that I was hearing echoes or dreams bleeding into waking life. But still, I started sleeping with my bedroom door closed and the hallway light on. Then I did something stupid. One night, I sat right in front of the vent and whispered back, "Who are you?" Silence. I waited. Then, barely audible, I heard a laugh. Not loud, just wrong, low, guttural, like someone trying not to choke. It didn't stop right away either. It lingered, then faded. That night, I slept on the couch. Didn't even bother turning the lights off. The next morning, I called my landlord and asked about the vent system, whether the ducts connected to other units. He said, "Not since the HVAC was pulled. All the vents are sealed. Just decoration now." I asked if maybe someone downstairs could be messing with me. He said, "Nobody lives in 1B. Been empty since last year. You're the only tenant on that side." I asked if I could see it. He agreed to meet me the next day with the spare key. That night, I barely made it through. The voices came back. Not whispers this time. Arguments. Shouting. Someone crying. Then a loud crash, like a chair being thrown. I pressed my ear to the vent. Heard one voice say, clear as day, he's listening again. Then, nothing. But just as I backed away from the vent, I heard something new. A knock from inside the wall. Just once. I didn't sleep. I stayed in the kitchen until the sun came up. The landlord met me at noon. He didn't say much, just handed me the key and waited in the hallway. The air inside 1B was stale, thick, almost sour. Dust clung to everything. Carpet frayed, walls yellowing. It was identical to my unit. Same layout. Living room, kitchen, bedroom, at the end of the hall. But it felt backwards. I went straight to the bedroom. The vent was open, not missing, pried open. Edges bent outward, like something had come out. I knelt down and shined my phone into the duct. At first, just black. Then, something moved. Fast, like a breath being sucked in. I heard the whisper again. Found you. I jumped back and ran, locked the door behind me, and tossed the key back to the landlord without saying a word. He didn't ask any questions, just pocketed the key and walked away. I packed a bag that night and left. I found a new place, different part of town. No vents. For a week, everything was fine. No sounds, no whispers, no shadows under the door. Then, 2 nights ago, I heard a sound in the kitchen. I got up, heart pounding, walked in, and stopped. The vent above the stove had been removed. The cover sat neatly on the counter, and next to it was the same key, the one from 1B. I've worked night security at a psychiatric hospital for a little over 3 years. The money's okay, the hours suck, and you mostly just walk in circles and fill out reports no one ever reads. I take pride in the job, though. You're responsible for watching over people society has forgotten, some for good reason, and some not so much. The hospital I work at is old, like 1940s brick and steam pipes old. Half of it's been remodeled, the other half still feels like it belongs in a black and white horror film. Fluorescent lights flicker, pipes hiss randomly, and the air always smells faintly of bleach and something else. Something that never quite fades. We've got 3 active wings. A for general patients, B for long-term residents, and C is mostly storage now. It was shut down years ago due to structural issues and understaffing. At least, that's the official story. But there's one room in Unit C that's never been cleared out. Room C-213. We just call it the locked unit. When I was first trained, my supervisor, Marcus, gave me the whole rundown. Cameras, rounds, restricted access. But when we got to C-Wing, he stopped. Don't bother going down there, he said. Cameras are off, lights barely work, place is sealed up, and no one's in there. I asked about the locked room on the report logs. He looked at me and said flatly, ignore it. No joke, that's all he said. Then he changed the subject. After that, I checked the logs myself. Every night, for as long as I've worked here, someone's been signing off on that room as secured. But there's never any footage. No one does rounds there. It's like everyone's just pretending it doesn't exist, so yeah. Naturally, it got under my skin. And last Thursday, I finally gave in and went down there. It was my 3rd round of the night. 2:14 a.m. The building was dead quiet except for the hum of the security monitors and the occasional pop of steam pipes. I grabbed my flashlight, scanned my keycard, and made my way to the C-Wing doors. The hallway past those doors hadn't been cleaned in years. Dust on the floor, old paint chipping off the walls, and a smell like mildew and rust. The overhead lights barely worked. Just the occasional flicker that made things worse somehow. At the very end of the hall was a heavy steel door with a small square window, almost like a prison cell. C-213. The panel beside the door still worked, red light blinking steadily. I stood there for a few seconds, half expecting to hear something from the other side. Nothing. I don't even know why I did it, but I swiped my card. The red light blinked, then turned green. Click. The door unlocked. I opened it slowly, half expecting some alarm to go off, but nothing happened. The room inside was empty. Mostly. There was an old cot in the corner, rusted. A metal table. A camera in the ceiling that looked disconnected. Peeling paint. Broken tiles. And a faint stain on the floor that looked old. Dark. Probably dried blood, if I'm being honest. But the weirdest thing? There were scratch marks on the walls. Deep ones. Not random either. Patterns, like symbols, repeating over and over. I stepped inside, flashlight shaking just slightly, and that's when I noticed the mirror. One of those old, one-way observation mirrors. Except this one, it was cracked. A long fracture right down the middle. I walked up to it, peering in. Just my own reflection staring back. But then, something moved behind me. I spun around, light sweeping the room. Nothing. I stood there, breath caught in my chest for way too long, and then my radio crackled. It made me jump. I almost dropped my flashlight. I grabbed the radio, thinking it was dispatch, but there was just static. Then, through the fuzz, a voice. Not dispatch, not Marcus, just a whisper. You're not supposed to be here. I turned and ran. Slammed the door shut, relocked it, and bolted down the hall like a damn horror movie cliche. I didn't even stop until I got back to the main control room. Panting, heart racing, I rewound the hallway footage. Nothing. No movement. No audio spike. Room C213 didn't even register on the system. Like the power never came back on. I didn't report it. I just logged the wing as secured and finished the shift, trying to pretend it hadn't happened. But here's the thing. The next night, I came in and checked the activity logs like I always do. Someone had already logged C213 as unlocked before I even arrived. The timestamp was 1:48 a.m. And the signature? It was mine. My name, my badge ID, same as I always write it. But I hadn't been in the building yet. I've tried to rationalize it. Glitch in the system. Maybe Marcus messing with me. Maybe I did write it the night before and forgot. But the time didn't match. And now, every night, around 2:14, I get a notification that the door to C213 was accessed. Even though the system says no one's assigned to that wing, even though my rounds never include it, even though I haven't gone back. The thing is, now I don't sleep well on my off nights, because twice now, I've woken up around 2 a.m. and thought I heard the sound of a metal door unlocking from inside my own apartment. I'd been stuck in my apartment all week, staring at the same four walls, and honestly, I needed to get away. So, I hopped on Craigslist. I figured a weekend in a cabin, out in the woods, would be the perfect escape. Peaceful, quiet, no distractions. After scrolling through a bunch of overpriced, fancy cabins, I saw this one. Just a simple listing. Secluded cabin for rent. Escape the city. Call for details. The price was ridiculously low. Too low to make sense, really. But at that point, I didn't care. I just wanted out. So, I called. The phone rang twice, then a voice answered. It was strange. Deep, almost gravelly. Hello? I was a little thrown off, but I pushed through. Hey, I saw your ad for the cabin. Is it still available? The guy paused for a second. Yeah, it's available. You need directions? There was something off about the way he said it. Like he wasn't used to talking much. But I didn't think too much of it. I just wanted to get this over with. Yeah, please. He gave me the directions, all of which were a little vague. Turn left at the old oak tree. Follow the dirt road for a couple miles. Right at the abandoned gas station. I was a little freaked out by how specific and yet strange it all sounded. But at that point, I was committed. He ended the call with this: "Don't go in after dark." I actually laughed when he said it. It sounded like one of those old horror movie lines, you know? Don't go into the woods. But whatever. I wasn't gonna let some random guy scare me off. Fast forward to a few hours later. I'm driving down this godforsaken dirt road, rain slamming against the windshield, and it's dark. Really dark. The kind of dark where the trees start looking like they're closing in on you. My phone's not working, of course, but I think I'm close. Then, I see it. This weathered wooden sign, barely hanging on, cabin for rent, with a faint arrow pointing to a narrow path in the woods. I pull in. The road's rough, like really rough, and the car starts shaking with every bump. But I don't turn back. I keep going. Because hey, I'm almost there, right? Finally, I get to the cabin. It looks exactly like the picture. Old, creepy, and alone. Perfect. Honestly, part of me thought, okay, maybe this is a little too secluded. But whatever, I'm here now. I grab my stuff, head inside, and the door creaks open, like in every horror movie. The smell of old wood hits me, and I can feel the dust in the air. It's quiet. Too quiet. But I ignore it and start unpacking. Everything's worn, furniture, books, the fireplace, but it's all in that rustic, charmingly run-down way. I make myself a drink, sit down. The fire's crackling. Everything feels fine at first, but then I hear it. A knock. Soft at first. Just one tap. I freeze. I think it's probably just the wind, but then it comes again. A little louder. 3 knocks. Now I'm standing up, heart pounding, staring at the door. I look through the little window by the door, but there's nothing, just rain. I open the door, step outside, and nothing. No one's there. The wind's howling, the trees are rustling, and I'm standing there like an idiot. I go back inside, shake it off, tell myself I'm just being paranoid. Hours later, I'm in bed. I'm starting to doze off, finally, when I hear it again. A whisper. Jason. I jerk awake, my heart slamming against my chest. I sit up, and for a second, I think I'm imagining things. But no, there it is again. Jason, I told you not to come. I scramble for the light, flick it on, and there's nothing. But the window's open again. My stomach drops. There's no way I left it open. I walk over, close it, lock it, but my fingers are shaking so bad, I can barely turn the latch. I stand there, staring at the lock. Then I hear it again, the creak. But now, it's not just above me. It's in the hallway, just outside the door. I don't move. I can't. The voice comes again, but this time, it's clearer. Jason, you shouldn't have stayed. I bolt for the door. I need to leave. I don't care about the rain or the dark road anymore. I yank the door open, but there's nothing outside. Just the same cold, empty air. The trees. The dark. The isolation. I turn to run back to the car, but I stop. I feel it. It's behind me. Someone, or something, watching. And as I turn back toward the cabin, I hear the voice one last time. Don't worry, Jason. You'll find a way out. Eventually, the door slams shut behind me.